Happy Easter, everyone. Good evening. Before we get started, can you confirm that you can see the screen and hear my voice? Awesome. We're going to get right started. Okay, so a couple of things. If you guys have any questions, what we'll do is we'll save the last 5, 10 minutes to start thinking about the questions you have or drop them in the messages as you get them, and then I'll go over them. So, here, I'm gonna pull my Discord here. I'm gonna go over something that I posted earlier on. Okay. Uh, I'll just speak it out loud for people that can't find it. So essentially, China is doing tests around Taiwan border. So there's some news coming out that there might be something happening there. This is futures. So if you guys have TradingView, type in SPX 500 and it'll give you what the futures look like equal into SPX, so SPY. And at the moment, we're down close to, I believe we closed at 5,300. We're down roughly 44 points. I'm going to show you guys something. And I'm going to ask you guys that have been doing this for a while with me. So this is by, let's do weekly. Hold on. Can someone tell me what chart pattern this is on SPY? I posted this on Instagram today too. Can someone tell me what this looks like? I'm gonna draw it too so you guys can see it. But if you guys can tell me right now, it would tell me that you did a little bit of work before coming. So, do you guys know what this pattern's called?
Why would you even do this? This.
Hold on. Let me mute everyone.
Yes.
All right, sorry. Should have muted everyone. Okay, so this is the H pattern. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. It is a bearish pattern, and hence why I've been in puts. Now, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for open tomorrow, and I'm looking to buy either QQQ puts or SPY puts for um, end of month and May 15th. In my opinion, based on how the seasonality is looking right now, um, essentially we get selling into all the way 1st of May. And then, you get new seasonality flows and we'll go from there. I think that we do definitely break the lows, which is what, 481.67. Worst, I say best case scenario, I think we get a double bottom, but this is far from over. Donald Trump, his overall rating have been the lowest since even the last term. Dollar is dropping, gold is shooting up, which is never a good sign. Donald Trump spoke on the weekend. He referred that Powell is not doing a good job and he's not happy with it. And so you can't have Fed chair and the president not getting along and not aligned. And then everything with what's happening with Japan, they're saying that Japan is selling treasuries. They're saying China is doing that. All that stuff is forget if you understand macro or you don't, just know that when there's no certainty in the market, you don't want to be in the market. And if that's the case, people are going to start selling. That's sort of what all you need to know. Like, I know, you look, you read, you go over so much information. Honestly, none of that matters. The simple fact is there's a lot of emotions involved. People aren't aligned on the top positions, and everything is flagging a recession. So I'd be very cautious. I'll point one more thing before I move on. A lot of people in the past 20 years have relied on tech to be the front runner. I don't think tech's gonna run as hard as it used to, and it might take a break and you might get a rotation. I think biotech might be the next runner that could run because biotech hasn't done much. So I'd start looking there too if you guys have the investment mentality. But this is what SPY looks like. Doesn't look good at all. Um, Again, I posted this H pattern way before futures opened up. I spoke to a couple of my consulting members and I said one of the reasons why I didn't buy puts on Friday is because Thursday is because in the last 20 years, and you can go check, we've never had a red Easter pre. We've never had a red day post Easter, pre Easter, sorry. So I knew we would get some sort of green day because of low volume. I didn't want to get chopped up, so I just chilled out. Tried MSTR calls, didn't work out, but I'm watching Palantir like a hawk. So let's go daily. This is as easy as they come, in my opinion. If you guys, so one of the things I do, I moved my mic by the way, so it's been so annoying because it keeps coming between the chart. I'll probably move it on the other side. But this is the supply zone. I noticed that a lot of people on Twitter, especially big accounts, are going for 105, 110. That gives me the confluence that I need to short this. I wish I added more May puts. I was up on the next week's puts, but then ended up getting out of them. It was up like 20 to 23%. I don't trade for 22%. I know it sounds crazy, but if I'm honestly, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna be straightforward. I think this trade could do 1,000%. I've said it multiple times. I think this ends up breaking this week. And I think this is the week. Last week was OPEX. It was a short week. I didn't want to mess around, so I played small. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to choose my words carefully. So I grew my $3,000 account all the way to $27,000. And when the market pulled back, it went all the way low to 15K. I reset it again back to 3K now. Anytime I call out anything that's that account, I'm going to call it a small account and I'm going to tell you how many contracts I'm getting. So just know it's not a challenge. I don't like calling anything a challenge because just like how the weight loss challenges go, it's just for that period and then most people lose their discipline. I'm just going to show you how to grow this account. And I thought it was a perfect time because this is, I don't think it's a hard market. I think it is a very volatile market. So the rules are have to be different. So overnight swinging, you have to be very careful. Buying time does not help you either because if we get like a massive news and the market just goes 300 points or 200 points, your long time buying more time is not going to help you. You got to be correct. This is where you could say, okay, I'm going to take a breakout trade. If this breaks 100, I'm going to go calls. I'd rather take the downside on this because I think we go all the way here. If I think we go all the way here, that's a pretty big move. A couple of people, I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this and I'm gonna go. I have a bunch of things that I want to cover. So this chart is up, and I think I covered almost 50% from the top, and nothing's changed. Tariff situation hasn't changed. Um, Everything with Trump going with Powell, not increasing interest rate, sorry, not reducing, none of that's changed. So that's one of the reasons why I'm shorting this. Someone asked a very smart question. They said, why are you shorting Palantir? It has nothing to do with tariffs. The thing is, I don't know if you guys remember when you traded around COVID, regardless of what happened, there were certain stocks that were called COVID stocks. And every time a positive news came in, those stocks would shoot up. Palantir is a risk on stock. That's all you need to know. For traders, that's so when the market wants like high growth stocks, they pile up in Palantir. Right now, we're sitting in risk off, which is why gold is running. When gold, silver, copper, all that stuff's going on, that means we're going risk off. Tonight, we have a divergence for the first time I've seen where Bitcoin's running and gold is running and the market's dumping. Let's see how long this goes and who's lying in terms of like, are we risk on or are we risk off? We'll see. So stocks like MSDR should gap up tomorrow, while stocks like Tesla or anything, again, futures is futures. We don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow open, we're going to have a clear idea. I never celebrate gap downs or gap ups. The best thing, flat days, flat opens are the best. You could buy premium cheap. When you get a gap up, gap down, it's much harder to trade. Okay, cool. So this is Palantir. This is what I'm looking for. May puts is what I'm shooting for. I'm gonna align that with more puts. I'm not gonna go weeklies now. I'll probably go first week of May for puts. And I want to go closer to the money. I don't want to go too far. Like I don't want to go 70 again. I did not like how the premium's moving on those. So this is my first stock. My second stock I have is So comes in. Basically, they're saying that they've instructed Temu, Alibaba, and all those companies to start pulling out ads from Google and Meta, which is why this is taking a big hit. What you guys are probably noticing here is that even though Palantir has been holding, these stock haven't. So my second idea, thought process was it might be smart not to only focus on the strongest stock. You should also look at stuff that's relatively weak, like Meta, Nvidia. That would be much easier. See, when you talk about what company has more meat on the bone for puts, Palantir definitely ran 50%. But then you also have people that have high confidence because ran 50%. They might be piling up more money. So I also want to look at another put position, either SPY, QQQ, Meta. We'll see how the market opens tomorrow. But these are the levels. Okay. So these are my levels, but I want to also talk about something else. They are showing massive amount of insider selling in Meta. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. I'm gonna stop screen sharing for a second here. And I don't usually look at that stuff, but it's something I'm watching. Just give me 1 second. All right. So let's look for Meta. Can you guys see the screen? Are you guys able to see the screen and hear me? Just want to make sure. Okay, cool. So if we scroll down, this is all the insider selling that's happening on Meta. And this is quite a bit. I haven't seen anything like that before. You guys can see the date. This is all April. And you guys can see who's selling and how much they're selling. That's pretty massive. And if you're wondering why, Kim, I think it's potentially because of everything that's happening. Like Goldman Sachs took a big position as well. They sold shares, the CEO. Usually it's because they can tell the market's topping and the next few years might be hard. I'm gonna show you something else as well. Here, give me a second. So I want to show you guys the difference between SPY and a stock like Meta. Look at this. It's the same pattern. It's just SPY hasn't broken. This is also called an H pattern. This is breaking now. So Meta might be an easier short than Palantir. I just think it might be smarter to be in Palantir given that we've played it like 7, 8 times and it's worked. And there's areas like 93 breaks, then you got 90, once 90 break 88. That's kind of where I think I'm gonna go heavier. I rather than averaging down, I'm gonna average up on that position. Okay, so I want to spend time on each and individual stock more than going on more quality over quantity today. Okay, so this is Meta. I genuinely think this goes to 452. I think all that happens before May 15th. So I think these are levels that are going to happen much faster. OPEX was the time where I had to wait. Now I think I'm a lot more open to doing this. The next stock I have is Nvidia, and I'll tell you why I didn't short this over the weekend. What I've noticed, and I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed it too, we're seeing a pattern where a bad news comes in and the market terribly sells off, and then either the night of or the morning, Trump comes up with a tweet, for instance, Apple, where they were saying Apple price were going to go up, and then Trump tweets that Apple's going to be fine. I talked to Tim, I'm going to help him. I was worried that might happen with Nvidia, it's already sold off quite a bit. However, watch the flow here. They bought 80 puts, 95 puts for 425, 625, 96 puts. They keep coming for Nvidia. I saw more, I think yesterday, not yesterday, last week as well. Here I saw 65 puts as well for May 15th. So they're piling into puts here. Again, you're gonna see a trend that a lot of these charts are showing. It's this etch pattern that you keep seeing. Some charts are closer to it, some are already there, some haven't started. Palantir, if you go back, is a start. It's not there. But I wouldn't short this anywhere else. This is where I would short. Some people might be like, well, this is $6 away from like not all-time high, but it's holding very, very strong. This is a cup and this is a handle. It's not really because it failed all the way down. I get that. I'm okay, so I'm looking at a little bit on macro side for the first time shorting the stock. I'll also show you something on Trader's Edge that I saw. And these people are still there. Someone bought 2.2 million worth of Palantir October 67.5 puts. These people are still sitting there. So that gives me the confidence on doing this more aggressively. I haven't on my small account, I haven't gone aggressive yet, but I'm talking 50% of that small account. I want to line up in Palantir put or take QQQ. First shorting, I want to talk to you guys about something. If I was to buy puts, I like buying puts on QQQ right now over SPY. Can anyone tell me why? Why would you want to buy more on QQQ versus SPY? What do you think could be the reason? There's no wrong answer. There's a heavy amount of tech concentration, and I think tech leads this downward move. Well, why would you sell stock? Meta would sell their own stocks. Like there's something coming and it's just we're stalling. Like you look at SPY, this candle was a 90-day pause, right? The next day, who is selling here? It's not retail. So why are funds getting out? Why is Meta CEO selling? Why is Goldman Sachs selling? Why are they calling go for a recession? Why is Powell not cutting rates? Like all that is lining up pretty perfectly, in my opinion. And I think it's this week. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. Like, you do your own due diligence. I think it happens this week, and I think it happens very fast. That's how it happens. It's very slow, then it happens all of a sudden, and we're down like 300-400 points. On that note, let's pull VIX too. So VIX is sitting at 29. Their 21, I don't, is it daily? Yeah, 21-day moving average right here. It's going to act as support. I don't think you should do technical analysis on VIX. For those of you that don't know how it works, VIX essentially tells you that if we're sitting at, let's say, 30, this is what the expected or implied move could be. Now, when I say that, a lot of people are like, that's okay, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's not what exactly is going to happen. That's what's priced in, meaning the premiums are going to have that much priced in, which means if the move doesn't happen, you're going to start losing money for even an upward move. I'll give you an example. I think 2 weeks ago, we bought KWEB calls ETF for China, and a lot of people probably saw it firsthand. The stock was up 3%. So we bought it on Friday at close. On Monday open, the stock's up 3%. You should be up, right? No. We're down 2% right at open. 5 minutes later, the stock keeps heading up. The stock at one point was up 6%. Okay. We were down 30% on KWEB. The moment I went break even on that trade, I exited it. And the only reason that why it could happen is because it had a lot of volatility priced in when we bought it. And essentially the move did not happen, or someone big got out right at open, likely killing, crushing the premium. So this is where you have to be very smart. There's a lot of people that are trading with big money and they're not even touching options right now. They're trading stocks. So with Wix being very close to the 21-day moving average, I expect a bounce. Most people think that this cannot sustain. It can sustain. If you think about this, if you own a pension fund, if you own a hedge fund, if you own anything massive and you are in the market, you need to be hedged all at all times during this market, which is why it's shooting up to the point where Kim talking about we have earnings. So let's go. Where is it? There you go. We have Tesla on Tuesday. Okay. We have Google, I believe, on Thursday. I don't think Tesla beats. I don't think Tesla has anything. One of their models, it came out that it got delayed. Dan Ives, I think that's his name. He's a analyst, and he is usually a pretty big bull for Tesla. He downgraded Tesla. Said doesn't see Tesla doing what it was supposed to do. Also said that Elon needs to quit a political stance, needs to quit Doge. All that again, you know, Trump, what's his name? Elon can come on after earnings and pump the stock and say we're gonna do this because he's like we're gonna be a $1 trillion company if everything happens. All that is still true. This market, I don't know if it flies. Like I don't know if you noticed on Thursday, Trump was tweeting and it was all bullish that everything's under control, but the market wasn't listening. The market starts getting numb. That's not good. It essentially doesn't trust what Trump is saying, and I'm not trying to be political. Are you able to see, you can see my screen, right? I want to make sure. Okay. I got scared for a second. I thought you couldn't see it. Okay, so the next stock I want to talk about is MS. Actually, let's go over Bitcoin chart first. So this is a live chart, guys, right now. Bitcoin is flagging. I'll show you the daily right now. This is today. It is up 1,000, which means MSTR is going to be up because that's how they're directly tied. I've seen a lot of bull flow on MSTR. We are in this little area here, this channel here. It likely breaks. We see I was trying to get it above 320. That's what my goal was. We didn't get it, but these are the two levels. I don't think we break 343, 350, but if we can break 320 tomorrow, which is exactly where we failed yesterday or Friday, I would go for 343 weekly calls. That's all I would do here. Let's go over. I want to go back to NVIDIA in a second here. This is Hood. Most people bought this stock when it was around 33 because it took a big hit for no reason. Hood should also do well. I think one of my stocks that I want to buy is Hood. It needs to get above this 21-day moving average, which is right here. But one thing I want you guys to notice here, I'm gonna ask you guys what you see here. I'm gonna just draw this here. What do you guys see here? It's a lot of chop. So these areas, I usually would, if I was to take anything, I would go at the bottom of the chop to take any calls. So if we get to 36, 40, I bought commons on this. One of the members wanted me to go over MS, over HUD. I would not touch this until we break the 42.10 or if we touch the low of the day for Thursday. Now again, if I think I'm gonna short the market, I don't think I'm gonna parallelly buy MSDR calls. So just so you know, there's a lot of new people. I think the last 2 or 3 weeks, you guys would agree the only thing we've been playing is Palantir. And I'm absolutely okay with that. This is not, I don't want to say this is a hard market, but this is not the market we're used to. And if it's not the market, we don't want to be in multiple names and playing calls and puts and all doing all that stuff. Gotta be patient, go small. If we go to VIX 40-ish, you don't need to buy 10 contracts. One contract would do the work of 10 if you time it properly. So in that regard, it will get easier. But I want to cover NVIDIA. I'm gonna leave time for questions. here, but I think so I know I got a lot of questions for Nvidia, and I promised that I'm gonna post a chart for Nvidia as well. I think this could see 65 to 70. That would I would say would be close to the bottom, and I think we do see that. And I would buy there. I started buying this when it was 95. That was I basically if I 10K on just Nvidia dedicated, I put in $1,500 and 95. I'm gonna buy the rest when it gets to around 85-ish and then buy more. And then I might go oversize if we actually like if I'm able to catch um the 67, 65 mark because I day trade. And a lot of times this stuff happens after hours or right at open when we're trying to take profit. So sometimes I miss. So I'm thinking of just putting an order in for 65, 67-ish, that range, and buy like instead of buying, let's say I'm gonna dedicate 5% to Nvidia, I might go 10. So there's that. One thing I want to talk about is I haven't opened spots in a long time and I'm opening 3 mentorship spots. You need to be part of the mentorship wait list. I'm not emailing random people. If you're not part of the mentorship wait list, you're not going to get an email to get a one-on-one with me. You need to go on my Instagram, go click on the link in the bio to get into the mentorship wait list. Once you're in there, an email will go out probably next week where we're going to select people. They'll go through an interview process from there. If everything works out, they get in. It's not anyone that applies. Okay, any questions you guys have? If we go over, we go over. I'm gonna go back to see if there's any questions. Um, UPSD. Okay, I'll go over UPSD. So it's honestly, it's the same thing we saw around COVID when we were playing this around 2021. When the interest rates started going up. The higher the interest rate go, the less people want to do buy now, pay later. The situation's a little bit different now because if this tariff situation works out, what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to get laid off. A lot of companies are going to get laid off, and a lot of things are going to get expensive. I'll give you an example. We had Coachella. 70% of people that bought Coachella, they financed it, right? This stuff never used to happen 10 years down the road before. I think someone showed me they were ordering food and you can finance that too, like from Uber Eats or something. So we're going to that model. Back in the day was like if the interest rate's high, people aren't going to do it, but people are still regardlessly doing it. But let me ask you guys a question. Is UPSD a risk on or a risk off stock? What do you think? It's a risk on or risk off? Is it a safety stock or is it not? What do you think? Because a lot of people get into what the actual company is doing. A lot of them get piled on to the atmosphere. Like, why will Palantir go down? Why would Netflix go down? I know Netflix gapped up, but you're gonna see if when we go risk off and things start selling, everything sells. Some things will hold, some things won't, and that happens. Like UPSD went to 400, went all the way to 30. Mara went to I think 20 or 30, went to $1. Like it the way the stock moves has nothing to do with actual stock. It's to do with the kind of investors that are in. So I want you to think a little bit different. Forget technical analysis for a second. If Palantir went from 60 to 99, that means there were buyers at every single level, correct? Now, if it's sitting at 98 and it stays there, people are going to be like, "Okay, this is a great company. Everything sold off. We will stick to it." But if it starts selling, even a little bit panic, that's when you're like, yo, this stock is very close to its all-time high. I'm going to sell. Apple, you can't say the same, right? Apple's shown that they are Apple for a reason for I don't know how many decades. So the kind of investor that takes to panic sell Apple, there are very few. That being said, and I've said this multiple times, the Mag 7 are usually the last one to fall, and they're the one that bottom the market. It's because most of the concentration by funds and big money is always on those safe stocks. And right now, safety is slowly moving. If it moves slow, we're gonna have structured sell. I'll tell you a few more things. I'm gonna be out if there's no more questions. If you want to watch out for a market bottom, there's two ways to identify it. One is when you see a lot of panic selling, and when you panic sell, you also panic buy. We haven't seen that. We saw that last time, and then we rallied right back when we bottomed on, I think, 3 weeks ago. Second thing, what how you can tell if the market's bottom, where bad news is coming and the market just shakes it off and stays at those levels. That's when you know we're not there yet. What happened around COVID was QE, quantitative easing, where Fed was buying. If you know your own government's buying, you're fine. We got issues where everyone thought Trump is negotiating and these tariffs are just like a negotiation tactic. Now they're like, oh, he's not he's not joking. This is actually going to happen. Then everyone's like, cool. You know what? That's cool. He's going to do that. Powell's going to just cut rates to even it. No, he's not cutting rates either. And he also said the chances of recession are higher, the chances of inflation are higher. We might get stagflation. It's You don't need to know everything about macro. Even I don't. What I do know is uncertainty means go cash, go risk off. And that's why I short companies that are relatively strong, which is the opposite of what I teach when I'm buying calls. If I want to buy call, this is kind of like buying calls on companies that are too low. What's low can go lower, but when you're talking about sell-offs, it's a little bit different. And I want to make sure you guys understand, not that like you don't, but so next is gold. You know, my friend texted me last week and he said he's shorting gold because, you know, it's gone parabolic. I never get in front of a moving train. I've done that in the past where it's called the hero syndrome, where you try to catch tops or catch bottoms. This is what the chart looks like. I'm going to show you a month. Let's see if we can get a monthly chart going on this. So this is a cup, this is a handle, and this is a breakout. This happened from 2011 to 2023. So 13 years of this. The bigger the range, the bigger the breakout. When you have breakouts like this, there are no levels. This is broken all-time high. A little bit more about how money moves. Money is moved by funds. It's not moved by us retail investors, right? Unless we all get together and pick one stock like GME, which is high short interest. We saw what happened there. If I'm a fund and you and Tanner comes to me and Tanner's like, hey, I want to invest, and I say, hey, I'm going to charge you 1.8. Tanner's not going to pay me 1.8 if I'm all cash, because that Tanner can do it himself. So what happens is money doesn't ever get out of the market, it moves. So most likely what you're seeing here, money moving from tech, because tech is red, going into gold, copper, silver, treasury yield, all that stuff. So that's what's happening right now. And it'll keep happening until the risk is off position, right? And once we start taking a risk on, you're gonna start taking gold. They don't trust the dollar right now. They don't trust the stocks right now. So that's where the money is going. How do you recover when the stock does not go as planned? So that's where risk management comes in. And anytime I've broken those rules, I've lost money. So let's talk about Nvidia. Let's say you are a short-term investor and you're like, I want to hold Nvidia for 3 to 6 months, which I technically have done that multiple times, and I want buy this. Let's say your level's at 67, and you're like, okay, you know what? I think it gets to 67, then it probably gets to 100, and in 1 year, I want to make 67 to 100. Let's say whatever that comes down to. Now the question is, how do you recover when the stock does not go as planned? You have an if and then situation. If it gets to 67, you buy. If it goes to 100, then you sell. That's your level when it works. The plan works. As we all know, most of the times plans don't work. So then there's an if then plan where if it doesn't work and that's a predefined loss, where would you get out if you are wrong? So if it breaks 67 and it goes to, let's say, 30, I don't think it goes to 30. Are you going to still hold? Are you not going to hold? um that's your risk tolerance. Now if you are a someone who's going to hold it for 10 years and you believe in the company, you're just going to keep buying, averaging down, then that's fine. But I don't do that. I have someone that I spoke to, and I'm not gonna share amounts, but these are like seven-figure amounts. They bought crypto at 100. They're down roughly 40% on their port because they pretty much bought the top. And they were like, what should you do? Like, I would exit. And then they said, you know what? I don't want to exit here. What if this is the bottom? Could be the bottom, could keep going lower. Like, there's no way, but you can never enter in a position not knowing what your stop's going to be. I had a position called ACHR for July. I'm going to take 100% loss on that.